Hey guys, it's Rebecca Mara, and I am an intuitive coach and energy healer. And I want to talk today about the new earth. First of all, there are a lot of things that we've heard about the new earth, and it seems like everyone's always waiting for it to come or to be able to be there, but I don't really see it happening. And I have my reasons for that. But first, let's talk about the new earth. It's something that the Christians seem to think is going to happen. So when the end of the world comes, then all of a sudden everything's going to transition into the new earth. Also, the New Age people seem to believe that once the ascension happens, that they'll be in the new earth, where everything is wonderful, it's kind of heavenly, there's peace, love, and harmony, and all of these things. And maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't that way. I can't tell you what'll happen for sure. But I can say that my experience of the new earth is multidimensional. So I believe that it's happening in the past, present, and future simultaneously. I don't think that there is time and space that limits this dimensional reality. And here's why. So the time that I experienced it the first time, at this time in my life, I had been talking to these blue beings. So they were available to me for maybe 4 months. They were working with me, and they were showing me ascension energies, which more or less just means liberation frequencies where there's no suffering. And while they were talking to me, while they were with me, I really didn't understand why people that I knew were choosing suffering. Now I get it again. But my kundalini was moving, and I was in these beautiful frequencies a lot of the time. And so I got this bodywork session that was kind of intense. Like, I went through this process that was so intense that I felt like I died. Not fully physically died, but my body went through this process of almost it felt like it died. It kind of gave up. It was sort of the end of life experience when the soul transitions on. And honestly, it was kind of intense, but I'm a Scorpio, so I'm used to stuff like that, and I kind of like it. So anyway, I go through this death process, and right when I'm like clunk and it's over, I hear this voice on the left of me, and it's like this female kind of blue being, and she says right in my ear, "Rebecca, you're not alone anymore." And I lost it. I started bawling. It was almost like I was reunited with God again, that there wasn't any separation, there wasn't anything missing. And there's this incredible experience of being united, like not separated, to being completely with, I wouldn't even say with God, it was like my soul was completely unshrouded. Like there was nothing between me and anything else. And so, when I feel my soul, it feels like it's connected to everything. It's so much love, it's so much peace, it's so much beauty, and it's completely liberated. There's nothing missing, there's nothing imperfect, and it's the most blissful feeling. So that's what that meant, you're not alone anymore. So the pain was gone, the suffering was gone, and I was in this state of like beautiful divine union. And then this being showed me the rocks and the trees and other beings and nature were just the soul of it all was unshrouded. It was kind of animistic in the sense that everything had a soul. And they were individual like beings or objects, but the thing is that they weren't at all, it's like the soul of it all was unshrouded. So everything was breathing with everything in this kind of ecstasy. I think of the angelic choir that's just celebrating. Everything's like this ecstasy and bliss and worship. So everything was breathing with everything else in harmony because the soul of everything was unshrouded. It was like the soul of everything revealed. So that's the first experience that I had, and I couldn't tell if this existed on a different plane. It clearly existed on another plane and was happening. I thought for a moment, I was like, well, maybe this is what's happening in the future. Maybe this is what previously happened. I don't know. And I actually think it doesn't matter, because I think that it exists on it exists in its own dimension beyond time and space. It's already here. There were a couple other memories that I had. So I don't know if these were blue beings exactly, but I remember multiple times this place that I came from. And this place that I came from was really, really peaceful. Nobody was, there was no ego to separate us. There was no, nothing that would stop a sense of unity or peace or love. So there was no restriction, no blockage. And because of this, we were just living in peace and harmony. Like we were connected to our hearts. We were connected to source. And there was no sense at all of anything being like not that, right? Everything was peaceful. Everything was love. Everything was really beautiful. And we lived in harmony. We had reverence for each other. We had deep reverence for the earth. It was all a part of us. And at some point, these darker beings, whether in bodies or not in bodies, came in and enslaved us. And I have many memories of this. Many different times I've had this memory. And I guess the point of this is that there are beings, and there were times and will be times that the soul of things is completely unshrouded. And this is our liberated state. This is something that already exists. And it's also something that we can keep seeking because it's real. It exists. And we can find this again. The more we get out of our ego and our separation and our suffering, and the more we find peace and love and harmony. And I think as a planet, we need to do this repair work. It's very important. So there is a new earth. It already exists. It's very real. And we can find it. There are ways to find it. So I hope this story was interesting. I think it's interesting. I can't believe I've had so many of these experiences and they just seem normal at this point. And it doesn't change my daily living that much, but I do pop out of the veil. I think that's the important part. I pop out of the veil a lot and I can see these things and it's gorgeous. So that's my experience, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'm sending you blessings.